And, of course, all of you have jumped on now with your own thoughts on the worst calls. This one says, what about the I don't care about steroids or whose mom has cancer call?
Rome, I don't want to talk about steroids or whose mom has cancer, etc. Tampa Bay's going to lose tonight. They got terrible pitching. I'm taking the Orioles over Tampa Bay. Rack me.
I love a guy who insists or commands me to rack him right before he gets a run. Yeah, and why shouldn't I rack him? What with, I don't care about steroids or whose mom has cancer. That's rackable, right? Come on, Jim. Bad phone calls? Hello? Carl in Rosemead was the best, worst call of them all. Carl in Phoenix. Rosemead. Carl, what's up?
Hey, man. How you doing?
Good.
Good. You know, LeBron James wearing that Yankee hat to the Indian game, I mean, that's the worst idea since showing up to a party with a boner and sweatpants. I mean...
That was a pretty bad call. That was even a horrible call. It might not have been the worst call ever, but that doesn't mean that it's not a terrible call. Dear Rome, what about my call? Sincerely, the baked teacher. Peter in the district. That was bad, too. All right, let's go to Jill in Sacramento. You're next up, Jill. Good to have you.
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great.
I just wanted to make a comment on the fact that people smoking weed and playing sports, I don't see it as that big of a deal since you can pass drug tests. It is possible to do that. And I also want to say I've made a career out of going to college and running track for 5 years while smoking weed, broke records, got a degree. I'm currently teaching right now, and I haven't had a problem. However, I do believe that...
That was perfect. Her point, the first point that she made was taking drugs is okay because you can beat a drug test. I mean, one thing if you're a stoner and you have no job to have that take. That's a teacher. That's somebody that we're turning our kids over. Well, at least she was a teacher. Maybe still is. I don't know, Jill. What's up? That's somebody that we're turning our kids over to every single day. Yeah, I really don't have a problem with people taking drugs because you can beat a drug test. That's pretty logical. Taking drugs is cool because there are ways to beat the test. Steve from the City of Industry said, what about the guy who taped his calls and replayed them on the air? Good point. Listen very carefully. Slam your face up to your radio and you can hear him push the button to start the tape on his call. What's up, Ig?
What's up, Tim?
Talk to me.
Hey, Romy, I see where Paul Tagliabue finds.
Go back to that, Alvin. So if you listen very, very closely, Iggy, who was one of the better callers, a smack-off type caller, now we know how. He was producing and recording his telephone calls. And after I caught him doing that, he never called again. If you listen very carefully, you can hear the button push, the tape roll, and the tone of his voice change because it was on tape. Listen to this very carefully. What's up, Ig?
What's up, Tim?
Talk to me. Tape.
Hey, Romy, I see where
Different
Paul
sound.
Tagliabue finds.
Nice try.
President Matt Millen, 200
Beat it. Have to have been listening to the show a while, I guess, but I hold the title for worst call by far. Signed, the tandem phone call.
I think the other clone, my brother, I don't know, Mom's not let him out of the closet yet, but season's greetings to you, Jimmy. Only 6 shopping days left to Christmas. Obviously a Republican Christmas.
Bitch. I mean, what are you, the Grinch, the Scrooge, or just another whiny freaking Democrat trapper?
Here we go. Well, at least when Santa says ho, 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 pal, you know, Catherine Harris doesn't dive into his lap. In hell, I don't know, man. At least my party has people. They have corpses voting. That's not as bad as when you elect them. Your party elects them in South Carolina. Happy birthday, Strong was 98 this week.
Hey, you know, at least take a stab trap at having a sports take, commie boy. I came all the way out here to the left.
That was a horrible phone call. At least have a sports take, commie boy. I came all the way out to the left coast. Bitch. Bad call. Very bad call. A very bad idea with even worse execution. It happens. So maybe my man Ryan Garco took the day off. Or maybe he's listening in the outfield, but he just weighed in. or first base. This text says, worst call, one word, Tobin. This is Major League Masher, young star Ryan Garco of the Indians. First baseman Ryan Garco responding to today's thread of worst calls ever. Somebody sent me an email saying, here are the 3 worst calls ever to your program, Rome. And now everybody just started sending me in their takes. Ryan Garco, the text. Worst call, one word, Tobin.
What doesn't kill you definitely makes you stronger, and that guy is invincible. In contrast, but not in quality, but not in quantity, or I should say, in contrast, Charles.
A major league player texting me to crush my callers is hilarious. That's really not true. It's just one caller, Tobin. I got to take a hose to Garco to get him off Tobin. He's on him all the time. Hey, Gark, back away from Tobin. He's had enough. In contrast, but not in contrast, but not in, whatever. Nice try. Leave Tobin alone, man. Here they come. Hey, Rome, the worst call. Look, again, if I had known that this entire show was going to be about the worst call ever, I wouldn't have gotten up so early and hit it so hard. I had no idea. Look, I'm the first guy to say more of me and less of you is good for this talk show. I had no idea how many bad calls there have been until I started doing this. This says, this is awesome. We are thoroughly enjoying the worst jungle calls ever. From Phil Guidry. Hey, Guidry, you don't get your ass back to work on the TV show, you're going to have lots of time to make those bad phone calls to this program. Glad you're enjoying it, Guidry. That's JRIB staffer Phil Guidry, who tells us he's related to Ron Guidry, but I haven't been able to document that. What Kyle Brandt is getting on the text is, Jay Stu, Jim, your worst call list is on the thin line of blasphemy. Check again, Jay Stu.
Comes from Fullerton. Jason, you are in. Good to have you.
Van Smack. Hey, basically, just like Hollywood, I'm not expecting to walk away with anything, but I am honored to be nominated. I'd like to thank the Academy and my parents for spoiling me, that made me the condescending, selfish smacker that I am. But first of all, I'd like to explain to the new listeners and some of the weaklings who call in on a daily basis what it's like to have game in the jungle. As Doc Mike said, keep calling. It just makes us look better. But just in case you're wondering... Let me
jump in on that. Stu, what would you know about having game in the jungle? Weakling? Thanks, Trav. Before that, when we were talking about the worst call ever. Hey, Jim, worst call or strangest, but it has to be that cell phone call. Bob Montgomery somehow got patched into your queue. Classic, 98 or so. CH in Denver. See, that's amazing. That's something I would have never remembered. I'm the host of the show. I've been here for everything that's ever happened on the show, but sometimes you pull things that even I don't remember. If you don't bring that up, I never would have recalled that. That's true. Somebody called once and some phone lines got crossed, and I happened to jump in the middle of somebody's conversation, and this guy was just going. And I said, who is this? He said, Bob. I said, Bob who? He said, Bob Montgomery. And it was all in the air. It was just some cell phone lines that got crossed. And I carried on this whole conversation with Bob Montgomery. Not in a million years would I have remembered that. I certainly don't have tape of that. Good job, CH. Great pull. Dear Jim, JD in Nashville is the worst call ever. Signed it, Chad in Portland. He probably thinks so. JD, you're up. Nice to have you. How are you?
Shimon, I'm calling you. Pimp in the box. What's up, J Stu? Yeah. The porn stash rocks. Shimon, come to my room, up to my dorm. I need 8 dudes for watching porn. And your throat alarm ain't nothing when I'm trying to get to you. I know Michael's bed is bumping. Can I bring magic too? Because I'm Chad. You know it, you know. There's a pervert in the jungle right now, and I tell you once again, it's Chad.
The guy's never called back. That one drive-by. I love it when I say, JD, what's up? How are you? And he just goes right to, Shimon, I'm calling. JD, you're up. Nice to have you. How are you?
Shimon,
He didn't even answer. Just went right to it. It was like Alonzo going right to a script, right to the PR press release. It says, Rome, it's over. It's over. that Jason from Fullerton wins the inaugural reverse smack off. This is the reverse smack off.